welcome everybody. We are back on schedule now for the State Champs HangTime Michigan show. We don't even call this a podcast because it's way more than a podcast. It's a show.
Oh,
and,
it's a phenomenon.
That's right. And we've got, of course,
it's a way of life
and everything. So, again, if you're listening, it's the audio version of this, great. But again, you can go on our Facebook page, our website, and you can check out us in studio. And then, of course, there's B-roll rolled in and graphics and all of that stuff. So it's a show. Anyway, Scott Burnstein, TJ Kelley here. I am Lorne Plant. We are ready to go for another episode. I want to thank our sponsors, Lawrence Tech, MHSAA, Hungry Howie's, and B-Camp. Okay, so let's get to some things that have happened here this week. Again, we're dealing with some postponements and some cancellations, especially on Wednesday and stuff of that nature. But let's talk about last weekend quickly, and that is what took place at Grand Rapids Union High School. Benton Harbor and Ypsilanti-Lincoln.
Hold up to the hype.
Yeah, hold on. Of course, you're seeing some saying already, game of the year. Incredible matchup. 86-83 the final. And just after what I witnessed on Tuesday, that was basically 47-31. I would have loved to have seen a double up as far as points go. But Imani Bates, 36 for Ypsilanti-Lincoln in a losing effort. Scooby Johnson, 38 for Benton Harbor in a winning effort. You were at the contest.
Yes.
We will have highlights on the show this week. In fact, all over our social media as well. Tell me about what the atmosphere was like and the game itself.
Well, first of all, it was the Red Hawks Classic. Grand Rapids Union. Brandon Guyton, the head coach at Grand Rapids Union, started 5 years ago. And I remember, there were maybe a little less than 1,000 people the first year, second year a little bit more. This year, if you weren't there by the end of the second game, chances are you weren't getting in for the Benton Harbor Ypsilanti-Lincoln game. I mean, it was, they probably had 2,500 people there. Fire marshals shut it down. New people actually had to wait, for crowds to leave to get back in.
Wow.
In the snow and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a phenomenal game. I tell you this. I've seen Imani Bates over the summer, and I wanted to watch him really see how he progressed into the high school season, as a freshman.
And he started off with the bang.
Right
at Eastern Michigan, out of the gate.
Yeah, and
he continued.
It's one of those things where I want to see guys against, really good players and stuff like that, and what better chance than watch them against Benton Harbor?
Right.
And
this was the marquee matchup of all marquee matchups we've had so far this year.
Yeah, you got the Class B champion, defending Class B champion, versus kind of like the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
You got Mr. Basketball most likely 2020
Next
versus
year.
Mr. Basketball 2022.
Yeah, your lottery pick or whatever, number one draft pick.
Right.
2022.
Two guys that very easily could be playing, in the show, in the NBA in 5-6 years.
Yep.
That's
And
right.
Carlos Johnson, Scooby Johnson, he was great. Imani Bates' length, his ability to score from the perimeter. Nobody's blocking his shot. He can get to the basket.
His athleticism.
His athleticism. I'd like to say that he's wiry strong.
Yeah.
Hopefully
rangy.
Hopefully in 5 or 6 years we can laugh about wiry strong.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not sure when he's going to get over to 210, 215 pounds. But I mean, what he brings to the table is far superior to pretty much anybody else in the state of Michigan at 6'8". His skill set is. I mean, there are not very many guys that are better shooters than him.
And Bates is a freshman, by
Bates
the way.
is only a
if
freshman,
you have not
number one
been
player
paying
in the
attention.
nation in the
Yes.
class of 2022.
No doubt. And I, again, I think we should give a little more credit to Imani's surrounding cast.
Yep.
Because
Jalen
obviously
Fisher.
he can't do it on his own. This team, again, putting up 83 points against arguably top 2-3 best teams in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit about the supporting cast.
I really like Jalen Fisher. He's a point guard. I think he just got an offer from Siena Heights, maybe on Monday or Tuesday. Maybe it was after Tuesday's game. He just plays with a lot of confidence, plays within himself, wants to make the big shot. He had the chance to make the game-tying shot, game-tying three. Didn't fall. But Jesse Davis is doing a good job over at Ypsilanti-Lincoln.
Yeah.
And I really like, and then we've talked about it in the past, when you have underclassmen on the team, how much respect are they given by the juniors and seniors, the guys who have been there before? And that's one thing I think hats off to everybody, all the seniors and juniors, on the Ypsilanti-Lincoln team, knowing that, hey, Imani Bates,
That's the man. He's the man.
Here are the keys to the Mustang. Don't
crash it.
So it's one of those things where that's that.
And the kids are buying in, obviously.
And yes,
because
it's undeniable. I mean, I don't know. Even if you went into with the attitude like, I'm not going to let a freshman come in here and take over the team, and then you get to practice and you see who that freshman is.
Exactly.
You gotta defer to it.
All right. On Tuesday, I went and checked out Clarkston and North Farmington. This was at the home of the Wolves. Not a great crowd. Greg Campion was in attendance as he's got the North Farmington Center. I know committed. Yep.
Yusuf Jihad.
Yep. Who was really basically the only bright spot for the Raiders in this one. But the one we talk about big men, the 7-footer Matt Nicholson, they just had no answer for him. Triple-double in this one, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 11 blocks, and he was basically handling everything North Farmington tried to do. Defensively, they shut him down so much that they would basically sometimes have to take 3 minutes, it seemed like. Probably wasn't that long with the ball because they try to run a play and then Clarkston just shuts it down. So I think
some of that was intentional too. The way that the no-goes coach,
Yeah,
especially against Clarkston, they want to slow it down.
I agree. But, it just seemed like there was just no room to do anything. And I think we're really seeing this Clarkston team, who we have, I think, currently ranked third. Right, in Division I?
Maybe even second.
I believe
UAD Jesuit, and then
your rankings just came out.
I was telling everyone.
I'll look right now.
At the start of the year, even after the hot.
We got them third.
Oh, third.
Yeah, we got them third.
They're on a 14-game winning streak. When that winning streak was hitting 6 or 7, I was telling everyone, this is a team that is what was reaching my. I told everyone in the summer this is a team that's going to win 17, 18 games.
Yep.
Then they lost those first 2 games of the year. People had questions. Then they started to roll off this winning streak. And even at the start of it, I told people, you know what? They're still probably a year away from going to Breslin and winning a state title. Well, I'm going to walk that back. And I'm going to say this team has every chance to win a state championship than any other team in Class A.
And again, two freshmen at the guard position leading the way.
They're doing
poised, calm.
I've never
cool,
seen 2
collected.
freshmen play like that together in a backcourt. I'm guessing that we would have to harken back to the 1980s with the Saginaw Buena Vista backcourt of Mark Macon and Sean Randolph, who both started for all 4 years, won some state titles, went to Temple, played at a number 1 team in the country. I'm guessing that's the last time that you had 2 freshmen at this caliber.
Yeah, and I was going to say, we had Raiders honorable mentions coming into the latest rankings. I know that Todd Negotia just got his player, the Harrison transfer.
Lenton.
Yep, Lenton available. So he was, he didn't have him last. They only lost by 2 last time before. But where I really want to drive it is that defensively, they are now cohesively working so well that you're right. I think the game plan on both sides of the court is working just as good as it can be.
North Farmington took a loss, too. They lost their starting small forward in Shoron Graham.
Right.
He's out for the year with a separated shoulder. That hurts them. I mean, that was a guy that was probably their best perimeter shooter. He was a freakish athlete that could get out in the break and go, one hand over people with ease. Eddie Lenton's going to kind of step in for that and play that role that Shoron played, but it'd be a lot better if you had both of them instead of just one of them.
All right.
Well, and also going back to Clarkston real quick.
Yeah, quick.
Clarkston plays Flint Carman Ainsworth on February 12th, and that's
big game.
The current number 2 Division II in Carman Ainsworth versus the current number 3 in Clarkston, and the game is at Carman Ainsworth. They'll probably have to play each other again in the playoffs.
All right.
But we'll see how that.
That's great.
And the last thing I'll say is that Nicholson had the triple-double against North Farmington with the 14, 12, 10. And then I saw him the game before that against West Bloomfield, and he had a near triple-double.
Yeah.
He had 12 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 blocks.
That
could have been 2 straight triple-doubles.
He's a beast. There is no question. They're running through him.
Yeah. And he's a great passer. He's a great passer for a big guy.
All right, let's move on. Sterling Heights Stevenson beats Roseville. Roseville had a chance to
tip of the hat.
clinch the MAC title.
Mark Lacombe does a good job.
54-45, hold them to 45. Roseville was high flying. Yep. Tip of the cap here. The MAC is not decided as of yet.
Right. I know that they've got some playoffs that start. What is it? Friday?
It's coming. Yeah.
We'll find out what's going to happen. I think that you've got Sterling Heights Stevenson, you've got Roseville. Dakota's kind of like I'm not sure if they're going to want to win in it just because with the absence of Ryan Rollins. And then you've also got New Haven, so Roseville versus New Haven and Roseville versus Sterling Heights Stevenson. There's plenty of revenge games that can be involved there. But
right.
yeah.
Yep. Quickly, we'll talk about Orchard Lake St. Mary's here as we wrap it quickly here around the state. They take down Detroit Country Day on Tuesday, 46-43.
I was at that game.
Yeah,
and then TJ was at last night's loss to Jesuit.
Right, exactly. So we're starting to see, that the tough games down the stretch here. Obviously, now with cancellations and stuff. I mean, I know that Negotiation was saying they've got 8 games in 10 days.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be like that for teams. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, your assessment where we're at right now.
I think they're still a year away.
Okay.
I thought at the beginning of the year that this is a team that could be borderline great, a team that could push Jesuit in the race for the Catholic League, but that hasn't happened. But they're positioned to have a very special year next year. Now, this season, I think they can still win a district. They can still go to a regional final. They would probably run into Clarkston again, who bumped them out last year in the regional final. But, anytime you got a player like Bo the Show, Lauren Bowman, the Wisconsin commit, just, a straight gunner of a combo guard for St. Mary's, and you got a point guard like the freshman Cream Rozier, you're going to give yourself a chance to win ball games. They got a nice freshman class, Jason Drake,
and big DC,
DeCorian
Temple,
DC Temple. And they got a good front court, a pair of no nasties, Matt Nowicki and Peter Nowocki. They're the type of guys that you come into the paint, they're going to say no.
Well, Nowicki didn't play last night.
We didn't.
No,
he's a preferred walk-on commit to Northwood.
Yep.
Nowocki is a Division I recruit. Got an offer from Oakland recently. He's only a sophomore.
Yep.
So the future's bright. But I don't really see them making a lot of noise in the Catholic League tournament.
Yeah.
But I think,
and then they also play each other on Saturday too. So
right.
I kind of look at it like, do I want to show my hand here, in knowing that we're going to play for more chips, on Saturday. So,
right. All right. So we'll talk more about the quarterfinals because that's coming up here. Let's get to the rankings. I got 3 points I want you to bring up since we didn't have a whole lot of movement. Mm-hmm. Mount Pleasant is now in at number 10 in Division I. They beat Saginaw Arthur Hill in OT, 14-0 on the season.
With some nice wins in there. They're beating the teams that they're supposed to. I think Grand Ledge was supposed to be, that was an early season win for them. They were supposed to be at the top of the CAAC Blue, I believe. Then they also had a great win over the Martin Luther King weekend, with beating Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and then just recently beat Saginaw Heritage. Dan Schell is doing a great job there. Obviously, being undefeated, they could win the CVL East, the CVL Red, or the northern part of that division, probably since the first time that they went to the Breslin with Jaleel Hogan a few years ago. So we'll see how everything winds up, ironing out, and they're another team that Mount Pleasant, Clarkston, that can definitely be a matchup in the
Mason Wojo.
Yeah, Mason's
one of the quickest trigger fingers in the state, man.
Kid likes to score. Odell Beckham with the taking a little notice from Bo Ricks or whatever.
All right, so over in Division III, you had a change at 10 there. Wyoming Potter's House Christian has entered the mix.
Heard of them.
Yep,
they were division. They've been Class D.
Props to TJ for sniffing that out.
I know.
Yeah, well, I also had them ranked in Division 4 to start the year, and then I got a reminder that they were in Division 3. So but they're playing well. They're still playing a lot of Division 4 teams. They just beat Howardsville.
With Dylan
Jurgens. They lost to Pewamo, Westphalia, who's the top three or whatever in Division 3, top 4.
Yeah.
And then I also have them with another nice win against Tri-Unity, which they'll have a chance.
Another Wyoming school.
Yeah. As long as Tri-Unity's there, right. they're at one point a perennial Class D champion, or let's say this getting to the Breslin. But I liked what they're doing. Let's see what winds up, unwrinkling, as the season winds up going on. I do think that they'll run into if they do want to making it to the quarterfinals, the Breslin, I don't think that they're on the level of Flint Beecher, Pewamo, Westphalia, even Hanover Horton.
Right.
But we'll see what's going on. But I do like that they have that they're having a challenging schedule.
Right.
Especially being that small of a school.
And that's how you get in the rankings. In Division 4, Pittsford, you have them up to number 9, and Camden Frontier has moved into number 10.
Yeah, Camden Frontier lost a game, got bumped out. There were a couple of losses last week in Division 4, and so Camden Frontier, they were able to get back in. I think they lost to Battle Creek St. Philip, and Battle Creek St. Philip is one of those. I don't like they're so yo-yo because they'll play a team that they're not supposed to beat and then want to beat them, and then they'll have a bad loss. And so, I'd like to maybe talk about Battle Creek St. Philip later on. But I think that they're a team and they could wind up doing some things in 3 weeks when districts roll.
Bernie fact.
Yeah.
Bernie played his first ever high school basketball game in the gym at Battle Creek St. Philip.
Really?
As a freshman on the JV.
I drove by it.
Yep. Came up there for, I think it was a tournament of some sort, the opening weekend of the season.
Nice. That's
the only time I've ever been to Battle Creek St. Philip.
What kind of hair were you sporting?
I had a nice. I had luscious locks, thick, coarse.
Do you ever
hair.
put a bag over your head to go to the Kellogg's factory? I remember back in the day, you got a big box of cornflakes and stuff like that. It was some good stuff. So I had sprinkled some sugar in there and stuff like that.
I used to get grief because
make my own frosted flakes.
When I would pull my warm up top off, I'd always make it so it wouldn't touch my hair,
right?
Because I was so worried about my hair back then.
Really?
It's kind of ironic now that there's nothing there to worry about.
Yeah, interesting. All right, that's it for the first segment. We're going to come back and talk about the grab bag this week, one topic, and we'll get to it right after this break. Stay with us. This is State Champs, HangTime, Michigan.
Fundraising should be fresh, flavorful, and simple. We have the perfect solution at Hungry Howie's. Dough Raiser. Your team or school can sell paper pizza certificates that can be redeemed for one medium pizza at participating locations.
We've been doing this fundraiser for about 4 years, and it's the easiest and best and most profitable fundraiser they have in Michigan.
Go to doughraiser.com to learn more and sign up. Your next fundraiser comes with flavored crust. Welcome to Hungry Howie's Dough Raiser.
All right, welcome back to Hang Time, Michigan. Time now to dip into the grab bag, and what we have pulled out for you today is the defending boys basketball state champions and their chances of repeating. Bernie has done a blog on our website, statechampsnetwork.com, but we can get into it here and get into the weeds a little bit about the defending champs and their chances of doing it again.
I titled the blog "Watching the Throne," throwing out a little reference to the Kanye Jay-Z album from a couple years ago, which is one of my favorites.
Game of Thrones is coming out too.
And then there's Game of Thrones, obviously. Jon Snow. So Clarkston, I just said a couple minutes ago, I kind of have shifted gears going from thinking that maybe they're a year away and they could definitely make a run into the regionals or quarters, but kind of pumping the brakes on going to Breslin and pulling the three-peat. Right. Well, now I'm changing courses and saying this team could very easily be at Breslin knocking on the door for the three-peat. They're a lot more, though, than just the freshman backcourt of Fletcher Lawyer and Keegan Wassilk. By the way, I saw Fletcher Lawyer get into a zone last Friday night, hitting 9 3-pointers, 9 of 12 from beyond the arc for a career-high 32 points.
Interesting. He wasn't even really asked to do that.
Yeah, he only had like 3 points. He only had 3 points the other night.
9 threes.
9 threes on Friday. Right.
Foster never.
I think Foster had 9 in the game, but it wasn't his freshman year.
All right, so he's got a block shot and he's got 9 free throws.
So you got those two guys in the backcourt. You
got that going on, his brother. Right?
That's the Thanksgiving conversation.
You got beast mode in the middle in Matt Nicholson, but they also got some nice complementary pieces. Jake Jensen, the quarterback from the football team that went to Ford Field, is playing really well. Just hit double digits, I think, for the first time this year at 14 against North Farmington. Desmond Mills Bradley, whose brother DeMond Mills Bradley was the 6th man last year. He's come in, replaced his brother. He's the 6th man now. Gives him a lot of energy.
Where does the older one go to school?
Goes to Lawrence Tech.
Oh, yeah, all right, there we go.
So what are the chances?
Cole Donchez.
What are the
shooter.
chances? Let's put him in a percentile.
I would say
Clarkston
3 to 1.
If
I'm putting odds, I'm putting 3 to 1.
You know what? I'd look at you at the Jesuit.
Jesuit's the only team that I see being a hurdle there.
And I think that there's some other teams out there. Let's say this. I wouldn't throw it, even though I think that Clarkston could beat King again. Cass Tech, I think, brings maybe a little bit different dimension than Clarkston just because they can score maybe a little bit more. Still had that battle against Carmen Ainsworth.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think if UD Jesuit and Clarkston were to play,
I'd give the nod to Jesuit.
But they line up so well. I just don't think that they have the way that Daniel Friday played on Wednesday night. He looked healthy.
Shake
he was hitting
and
jumpers,
bake, baby.
he was throwing reverse two-handed alley-oops down. He was pretty much unstoppable.
Right.
And I just think that he's the difference maker when it comes to if they were wound up crossing paths.
Division II is a much harder challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, Ben Harbor, they're 16-1 right now. Scooby Johnson, obviously, he fits the bill, the real deal, Holyfield in every way.
Oh, yeah.
But they've got a lot of other players. Justin Brown is a really nice forward. Chris Conway, another guy to look out for. But they got a nice backcourt, too, that I want to shout out. Jamone Walker has been a pleasant surprise at the point. And then they got Quindarius Davis and Kentrell Pullian, who do a good job.
Kentrell played really well on Saturday.
Kentrell can shoot the ball.
Yep.
A sweet stroke from beyond, and then Quintarius Davis is a slasher, a guy that gets to the rack and finish. I really like what I've seen from him. But Justin Brown is probably the real sleeper in that group. He's got some Division II offers, but he's a guy that's got a nice upside at the next level.
But the challenges will be Rouge, will be Williamson, could be New Haven. Those three right there are what we have at the top. And I know you love
Bridgeport. Ball.
And Grand Rapids Catholic Central still got there before.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they can't.
The Catholic Central and South Christian are probably going to have to play.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that, they're probably going to wind up having to play Benton Harbor in the quarters. But I also like Williamston versus River Rouge in the quarters is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Bridgeport's also got to play Alma. Then New Haven's path. They're going to have to play Pontiac. More than likely, they're probably going to have to play Chandler Park Academy, who is underrated. A lot of seniors.
Bradford.
Andre Bradford, Tylen Tate, Derek Bryant Jr., who you talk about poise as a point guard, somebody who's one of those guys where people are going to say, well, where'd this kid come from?
Yeah.
He's 5'8", 5'9", but when you can run the show and
they're unbeaten,
and you
no
can make
doubt.
those around you better, then I think that Chandler Park, James Scott, the head coach, they're doing a great job.
What are the odds? What are the odds then?
For Ben Harbor?
Yeah. To repeat.
Let's say that. It's I don't.
And you could say
Rouge,
at like 80%. It's use a percentile.
With Ben Harbor, I'd say 75%.
I think it's more 50-50 on them and Rouge. I just like that there's so much that so many of these top teams from Division II have been in there for a second and third year, and they're always meeting each other.
And these
and
Division II teams can make
WrestleMania, but better.
These Division II teams can make a serious claim for being the best team in the state overall. I mean, River Rouge can make the claim that they're the best team in the state overall.
Yep.
So moving over to Division III, Detroit Edison, 10-4. They're a team that only brought back one starter, but in my opinion, is the most underrated Division I prospect probably in the Metro Detroit area. Brian Taylor, 6'6", 6'7" wing, who's playing. When he's been healthy this year, has been a blockbuster talent. But they also have some nice guys in the shadows. Raynard Williams is a big guard playing with some sugary sweetness on the perimeter right now. Kevin Millender is only a freshman, but he's a really nice pace setter of a floor general. He's the type of guy that I could see really doing damage in his high school career as we go forward. And then some guys that are in the front court, in the post, that are playing real active and aggressive right now. Some rim protectors in Bryce George and Thaddeus Powell.
Well, I mean, just at
and
the
Bryce
top.
George just transferred over from Marlette, and he's 6'6" and 235 pounds. So you add then with the big freshman that they have, that's a pretty big load to start.
No, that is. Top three in Division III right now: Beecher, Hanover Horton, Pewaukee Westphalia.
Yeah, I'd say I'd give the Edison the 50-50.
Yeah,
I just
there's other teams in Division III.
I don't know about
City,
getting.
Glen Lake,
I don't know about getting through
team.
Beecher. I don't know about them getting through Beecher. Yeah. And then if they do rematch with Glen Lake in the finals, Glen Lake brings everyone back from that team that lost to them in the finals.
Reese Hazelton has been one of the guys who's really stepped up this year.
Drew Peterson, Reese Hazelton, Xander Okerlund.
Do you think Pershing might make a run?
Pershing's got a chance. I just think that, let's say this, their path isn't the toughest.
All right.
So if they wind up making it, there's really no. They'll have to play Depsa, but they can wind up. They can wind up doing it. They've got some real young freshmen on. I met some young freshmen, but they've got freshmen on their team, and how much they're ready for the big stage, we'll have to, a lot to say with where they're going, and they have a new head coach in Twig Hill. So.
In Division IV, you got Southfield Christian. That's a dynasty.
Yep.
They've won 4 of the last 7 state championships. Been to Breslin 6 of the last 8 or 5 of the last 7 years. Josh Baker did a really good job this year. This year they had to overcome some adversity.
Sure.
They lost 2 starters, 2 all-state caliber players.
Future
One
college
of
basketball
them a
players.
Mr. Basketball candidate.
No doubt.
Harlan Beverly went down to Mount Verity Academy in Florida. Caleb Hunter transferred into the Catholic League at UD Jesuit. He was their point guard last year.
Yep.
So they had to inject the team with some fresh faces
Yep.
and some new firepower.
Yep.
They started the year 2-5. You had
Yep.
a lot of people kind of scratching their heads and wondering what this Southfield Christian team was.
Right.
But they've won something like 7 of 8. Their only loss in the last month is to River Rouge. There's no shame in losing to River Rouge.
They're going to win that league again.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to win the league for the 8th straight year, I think.
Will they repeat?
I think they'll get to Breslin. Not positive if they're going to repeat, but I'm confident they'll get to Breslin. Bubba Humphrey has been a breath of fresh air as a junior on the wing. John Sanders has really come out of nowhere to become their leading scorer. He was a guy that was a role player last year, only saw spot minutes. This year he's averaging 20, one of the most explosive players going to the rack. He's a nice southpaw shooter as well. And then they got guys like Noah Recker, Ramon Scruggs, Will Harahan. Scruggs and Recker are both averaging 15 a night. And then they got Jimmy King's son, Malcolm King, who's showed flashes. I think he had 20 a week or 2 ago, but sometimes he can be a little quiet. But he's only a sophomore. I expect him to get better.
Well, right now, tops in the state, you got the Killer Bees, Bellevue, and Brimley.
Yeah, awesome schools. Let's say this. I know I had a chance to talk with Coach Mitchell, the AD at Bellevue, a couple of days ago, and he was telling me that Coach Costello is doing a great job. His Coach Costello's point guard, I believe Gino, is his son. Possibly play in college. Doesn't have anybody that's really stand out. More just a team that's really gelling together and sticking together with their seniors. They do have some juniors on that team that are not too shabby.
Let me also say, if Southfield Christian just gets to Breslin Center and you're the defending
what are the
champs
odds?
and you have that culture, it's
Yeah.
a crapshoot.
So what do you got?
But I'll also say that-
75% for that?
I'd say I give him 75%.
Yeah, I think that. Let's say this: what other teams are playing, and I'm not taking it against any way.
Sure,
The
of
Bellevues,
course,
the
yeah.
Athens,
Yeah,
the
Tri-Unity
Brimleys.
Christian.
I'm not taking anything away from them. I just think that Southfield Christian is road tested.
Yeah, there's an
They're
aura,
there.
there's a legacy
They
there.
play a tough schedule on purpose. They play at River Rouge on purpose, and and it's almost one of those things. Sometimes you talk to some coaches and they're like, we need games like this. And talking with, like coaches from Hanover, Horton, and stuff like that, they need to play tougher games because they can sometimes go out there and maybe get a little bit full of themselves from just beating up on league competition. Where
when you're playing Southfield Christian at Breslin, you're playing the dynasty.
Sure,
You're not just
exactly.
playing
Yeah,
that
yeah,
specific
yeah.
team.
It's an aura.
You're playing the name on the
Yeah,
front.
and
Right.
that makes for compelling
Yes,
matchups.
absolutely.
And it makes for a pretty a tough task to overcome
Right.
if you're an opposing team.
12-mile Lassa Road, the mean streets.
Yeah, I mean, 4 titles in the last 6 years? You know,
Yeah.
so
Last 7.
7 years. Yeah, now it's 7. So
Would have been
If they wouldn't have
5
dipped.
and 7 if they wouldn't have got up or not upset, but the buzzer beater from North
yeah,
Central.
North Central had that 3-peat in there from.
I'll even say this:
15
if
through
McCarty
17.
Evelyn doesn't leave, they go up to Division III. I think that they were Class C at the time. They would have really they would have been a tough.
They were up on
They
Beecher
had a
in
chance.
that game that
Yeah.
they lost without Picard.
All right, quickly, we're 30 minutes in, so let's do a quick lightning round on the weekend watch, what we have coming up. I do want to shout out to this guy, Kyle Crittenden. He keeps writing me, and he wants us to come cover Harper Woods. He wanted us to come see Rouge. We couldn't make it happen this Friday, but Harper Woods is probably the one challenge that they have in that division.
I talked to Lamonte Stone the other day, and when they played at Rouge, they wound up losing by Harper Woods. Wound up losing by 8 points or something like that. Now they've got to go to Harper Woods.
It's going to be
Arvis
packed,
Young,
he said.
it's going to be packed. Arvis Young. I mean, Rouge is going to bring their band, and if you've been to Harper Woods, it's like a BB just bouncing off the walls there. As far as like the sound, the decibel meter will be pretty high. But yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Curtis Jackson playing very well. Ken Thomas also for Harper Woods.
Catholic League quarterfinals at River Review, Gabriel Richard Saturday. Any quick thoughts on What's some
I'm
of the
thinking
matches?
that
Jesuits going to
Yeah.
pull off number 7 in a row. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, more than likely they just wrapped up the Catholic League title last night. I think it was their 6th in a row.
Okay.
Seventh
And you
in a
said
row.
they're playing Orchard Lake again.
And they play Orchard Lake again on Saturday. Or
They won.
noon.
They won 7 regular season titles,
Yep.
and
De La
now
Salle-
they're going for their 7th tournament
right,
title.
right,
The 1:30 game is De La Salle versus Loyola. Orchard Lake St. Mary's Divine Child at 3,
Okay.
and then 4:30 you've got Catholic Central versus Lutheran North. And if I'm looking at that, I'm probably going to say UAD, De La Salle, Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and then CC. And I think UAD and CC
CC's
are
probably going to
gonna
meet them in the finals. They've played
Yep.
them tough both times.
CC's a sleeper team.
and they got
in Division One.
seniors.
Okay.
They got a
You
good
know,
front
you know,
court.
as far as the state tournament goes as well.
Right. Based on level of competition, yeah.
Lukomsky, Rucat, and Downs. It's as good of a 3-headed monster
You
in
know,
the front court as
Josiah,
you're gonna
Josiah
find.
Smith also
Josiah
helping
Smith,
out. Gives
who
them
didn't
the guard.
play. He didn't
Yep.
play in the first matchup and the
All right.
transfer.
Finally, PSL quarterfinals all day, King.
Yeah, it's
on
Saturday. Good thing that I-75 and heading south into Riverview and King aren't that far away. If anybody wants to
Go back and
do it,
forth?
Yeah.
go back and forth. But I really like what King did, and I think it was a weather thing last year, what the PSL did last year, in moving to all the quarterfinal games to King for just that Saturday. Great vibes. You see people coming from all over the city.
Excellent atmosphere.
Great atmosphere. I know I grabbed myself a nice big sandwich from one of those new restaurants on Jefferson.
Right.
And then walked in and was able to munch on that till about halftime of the second game. But yeah.
Who are the favorites going in? Who do you think's going to be city champs or walking away?
King
Cass
But
and
who's gonna
Renaissance.
win it?
King Cass Renaissance.
Who's going to win it? That's what I'm talking about. Who's hottest coming in? Who's going to win it?
I picked
the
King
state
last week.
champion-
I'll go with
yeah,
King,
the- yeah,
even though I
they
wouldn't
play
be
at
shocked
Cass.
if
Semifinals are at Cass. Finals are at Cass, and those are on Tuesday and Friday of next week. So I think that's the 15th.
And then the finals will be?
Callahan.
No, they're
it's
playing
not.
at Cass.
They're playing
Oh,
at
at
Cass,
Cass,
yeah.
okay.
Yep. So
So Cass has the
Saturday?
home. Cass has the
on
home court.
Saturday?
Cass on Friday night.
This next Friday.
Next
will be
Friday
will be
night.
the finals?
Yep, will be the
Okay.
finals, and then Catholic League finals are going to be at Callahan, and that's going to be on Saturday. So if you're
okay.
looking to be busy this Saturday and throughout next weekend, you got plenty of championship games. And I also
That's
think
February 15th. It's
Yep,
Friday
yep.
at Cass, so it's not going to be at Callahan.
Yep, and I
Just so you guys know.
also think that MAC tournament's going on, and they're going to have their playoffs, and then you've got the KLAA and all
And
that.
LVC tournament starts as well.
Okay.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
Gentlemen, thank you. As always, good job. And you'll see these guys again next week. Matt Mowery will be in next. We'll talk girls hoops on HangTime.
Coaching basketball is a rewarding and challenging pursuit, but you don't have to do it alone. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan are here to support you.
BCAM is the largest coaches association in the country with nearly 6,000 members representing college, high school, and middle school ranks. Members have access to drills, clinics, job opportunities, and it's the only way to vote for our annual awards, including Mr. and Miss Basketball.
Join today by visiting bcam.org because better coaching always matters.
All right, welcome back to Hang Time. Matt Mowery, our digital editing manager here at StateChampsNetwork.com. And he is on the girls beat, does all the rankings, gets out to a great ton of games all season long. Just really follow Matt. And you've actually, you've got even your own special girls basketball Twitter handle.
I
What
do.
is that?
Full court coverage.
Okay. Full court coverage.
Missing some vowels in there, but yeah,
Yeah.
if you look for it, you'll find it.
You'll
on-
find
yeah.
it. So, and again, and it's not like his face is on there or anything. So
No.
it's just this is Matt's girls beat. So check it out. A lot of great stuff. I know I always go there and check out what's going on. So, speaking of what's going on, Midland Dow, Saginaw Heritage got together again last Friday night. Again, I was not expecting Heritage to have a single defeat this season,
Right.
let alone before. Or let alone to Midland Dow, but you say this happens quite frequently if you follow it.
Well, and if you were
On their
pegging a
court.
spot where you were going to think that they were maybe going to have an issue,
Right.
it was against Dow, and Dow honestly gave them the closest game of their entire playoff run last year. I believe it was 15 points in the playoffs.
Right.
So you knew they had the ability, plus it was on Heritage's floor, and for whatever reason, in that kind of odd space circular gym that they have where there are no, back walls,
Right.
no corners. It's odd. You'd think that would be hard for a visiting team coming in. For some reason, Dow owns that gym of late. They've won, I believe, 5 in a row there. They beat them twice 2 years ago on that floor, and now they've beaten them again this year. It's just, for some reason, they have no problem with that odd space, and they love shooting there. And Molly Davis went off. She had 29 points, and she was, if they hadn't kind of slowed it down in the second half and kind of tried to trade, time for you taking time off the clock.
Yeah, exactly.
She probably could have easily
Right.
been in the 35 range, and it was a little unfortunate that halftime came when it did, because she had just hit, I believe, 3 threes in a row in the first half and was just on fire, and you knew that wasn't maybe going to last into the second half. But that's it's not one of those teams in Midland Dow where it's not a bus team. You don't look at them coming off the bus and go, ooh.
Got it.
Now,
Yeah.
maybe when Molly Davis snaps somebody's ankles on a crossover is
Right.
when you go, ooh.
Yeah.
But it's just not
Not
not a physically imposing team necessarily. They're just so well schooled. They pass very well. They screen for their shooters, both Molly Davis and Maisie Taylor, very well. Their assist to bucket ratio is always really high. It's just one of those teams that if the offense is clicking the way it's supposed to be. Now, early on in the season, it was not when they played Pewamo Westphalia and they shot in the 20% range,
Right.
because PW will lock you up
Right,
defensively,
right.
and that is so far as the only loss. And was out at PW last night talking with Steve Eklund, their coach, and he said that the Kyle Tyson, the Dow coach, after the win over Heritage, sent him a nice email saying, "Thank you for exposing some of our weaknesses that we've been working on since that loss in December, and
Right.
kind of trying to get better."
And that makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of those where Dow is a contender.
Well, I was just going to ask you, where are they now in the balance of power?
They're in the top 10, and they were one of those teams that had just been outside the top 10 rankings wise, but they're a legitimate. I mean, it's going to come down to probably them, Carmen Ainsworth, and Heritage coming out of kind of that quadrant of the state, and they have as good a shot as anybody.
Okay. All right, fantastic. On Tuesday, we had a camera crew at Southfield A&T and Royal Oak. This was a good matchup that we were looking forward to. 60-47, the final. Really feels like you got A&T second in the state, and they're playing like it.
Well, now they've moved up to number 1. They replaced.
Oh, you've got.
Heritage
I was
as
right.
the
I
number
was
one team in the state. Yep.
Right. I was okay.
Yep, and they've been kind of that 2-3 most of the season. Their only loss is to Heritage, and it's one of those teams that is very. They've got all the right pieces. They're a team when they come off the bus. They're very impressive looking with 6'3" Jasmine Worthy in the front court with alongside 6' Alexis Johnson and Cheyenne McEvans, who can jump out of the gym and she just had a monster game. A&T got in a little bit of foul trouble in the first half against Royal Oak. Both teams were in foul trouble. They had some of their bigger players sitting on the bench, but McEvans just kind of took that game and put it on her shoulders. Had 23 points, 22 rebounds. She's just one of those kids. Actually broke her leg after her freshman year playing at A&T, and you would never know it, the way that she moves athletically and how well she jumps. And she's also kind of the emotional leader of that team. And it was a 1-point game with about midway through the second quarter, and all of a sudden A&T, they got a couple of 3-pointers from Soleil Barnes, their transfer from the Cleveland area that came in for her senior year and was headed to Toledo. Got a couple of threes, and all of a sudden that run went 6 points, 9 points, 15 points. And it was a 15-0 run right there to finish off the first half, and that really was the difference in the game. Royal Oak hung with them the rest of the way in the second half and kept it right about 12 points to 15 points.
Yeah.
But they just couldn't string together enough stops. In a row to really make a dent in it, and so it was kind of that separator in the OAA Red race, really.
Absolutely. And when I said number 2, I meant Super 10.
Yes,
we've got him. We've got him 2 in the Super 10. Edison number 1. And speaking of Super 10, that is what we're going to talk about next. So we're going to take another quick timeout, and Dan Young from BCAM will be here. We're going to talk about our current Super 10 rankings, which you can find at statechampsnetwork.com right now, and follow along. We'll be right back.
So, I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first, I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoy giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
Hey everybody, welcome back to HangTime. Once again, Matt Mowery is still here. To my left is now Dan Young, who last week just rambled on and on and on. But no, if you did not get a chance to talk about the Reaching Higher event, he talked about and some other things that he really went into detail. So it's good listening if you go look back at last week's podcast. We call them shows. We don't really call these podcasts anymore because, look, they're shows. You're on TV. Yeah, we have graphics and video and everything that goes with it. So what we're talking about today, and we haven't done it in a while, is we want to talk about girls basketball. Matt does the rankings, statechampsnetwork.com. You can check them out right now. We want to talk Super 10. So these are the best teams in the state right now, regardless of division. And this is kind of where we have them. So I'm sure we've got the graphic on your screen, but I'll tell you quick. Detroit Edison 1, Southfield A&T 2, Wayne Memorial 3, East Lansing 4, Saginaw Heritage 5, DeWitt 6, Birmingham Marion 7, Pewamo Westphalia 8, Adrian Lenawee Christian 9, and Grand Haven is 10. Lots of undefeated teams in this particular group. A lot of teams, or the rest, just with a single defeat. This is a very talented season. Whether we felt some of these teams, and we were talking a little off camera, whether we felt some of these teams were going to have anything like East Lansing left in the tank, right? Because of what they lost last year.
3 and they're rolling along.
Right, so
they have great depth.
I mean, and I think what it tells you too about girls basketball and Southfield A&T, you definitely can include. Now, we're several years from the merger now, but what Lathrop was when Michelle was coaching them, and what now is this unification. These programs, Edison, what Monique's doing with that, and obviously
DeWitt.
at Heritage, DeWitt.
DeWitt.
I mean, we're Marion. I mean, here they are again.
Right.
We're talking about them as one of the top 10 in the state. It just transcends generations.
Absolutely. I talked to Bill McCullen from DeWitt and just had glowing about his team. 8 seniors, never had that many seniors in his group in his 23 years of coaching. They have lost 5 games in X amount of years, and 4 of them have been to East Lansing.
We were just talking about
PW being
and
the
so,
same way. 60 games, they've lost 5.
I think I'm going to get in the car and head up on February 18th and check that out if I can get a ticket.
Yeah, the rematch.
Because that will be, I guess it got snowed out or the weather pushed it out. But, what a rivalry they've got going.
So Feb 18, so that would be a Tuesday, right? Because 15th is Friday. Oh, Monday.
Oh, so it's they snuck it into a week that already had games on Tuesday and Friday. So
well, and they were in separate divisions in the CAAC, and now DeWitt is now in East Lansing's division because DeWitt kind of ran the regular season last year and then ran into East Lansing in the playoffs, and that was their lone loss last year. And you kind of knew that they were going to be coming back and kind of having that circled. Now, didn't go the way they wanted to the first time they met in the regular season, but as you said, Bill's been around a long time, and he's going to have those kids ready and kind of frothing at the mouth to get a little bit of payback on if they can.
And Bill is just so BCAM people know, Bill is our president-elect. He will be the president of BCAM next school year. So it's a 3-year term, president-elect, president, and then past president. Okay. So excited to have him on board. Great guy, outstanding coach. It was neat to see his girls. He's got 2 girls that are going to play college basketball at Hillsdale, Sydney Mills and Maddie Peterson, and then Aquinas. But then he's got 2 other girls that are multi-sports or soccer and going to do rowing. And Annie McIntosh, who leads them in scoring. And is it Lily Stefan? She's going to go to Alma for soccer. So, and Isabel Gilmore is their point guard. But having girls that are going to play different sports in college,
are fueling this team. They're very athletic. It's really good to see.
Well, and Annie McIntosh is one of those kids that you turn around and you're like, oh, you're playing this sport too? I saw her at track season.
So cool.
Yeah, she's everywhere.
That's really
and
neat.
She's ultra athletic, and for her to find a place as on that rowing team at Michigan State. I know over the years I've done stories on kids who are athletes in other sports that they kind of convert. They're willing to take some risks on kids if they're athletic and put them on. Put them on the rowing
competitive,
bench.
athletic young lady. That's great.
Right. Edison is a Division II team this year.
Yes.
So that is the one change that is from years past. We did have an opportunity to see them early in the season, December games. I know I saw them twice. Of course, we had them at the Winter Jam, where they just basically took
Rakia
care of
Jackson
business.
looks like a WNBA player right now.
Yep.
Wow, is she amazing.
Yes.
And she's got some really good players around her.
She really does.
As
They are
well. Gabrielle Elliott, and then the Demaya Hageman girl. And then they have a freshman named Ruby Whitehorn.
Yep. Yep. We've talked
And a
about
couple of
Ruby.
freshmen, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of freshmen. An
Ricky
entire
Beal,
freshman team, actually,
Right,
that runs a
right.
schedule
Exactly.
outside of their thing. I mean, is there any way that Edison's train is derailed?
It's hard to see a team in the state of Michigan. Now, I know that I saw their one loss against Columbus Afrocentric, and when you've got a kid who's going to Tennessee and another one who's, a little bit taller, who's probably going to be that same level, that's probably how you're going to have to beat it. And we just don't have another
You like
team
Williamston?
like that. Yeah,
You like what they do.
And quite honestly,
You've got Freeland and Chandler Park there too.
quite honestly, Division II is a little more open this year, especially with Country Day. That's
Right.
kind of been the powerhouse
Yeah.
in Division II or Class B
Yeah.
over the last
Yeah.
X
amount of
decades,
years,
It seems
yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
They've fallen off a little bit. They're not quite the vintage team
No.
that they've been in the last. They still have talent, but
Right.
just not as deep. So
Yeah,
Division
yeah.
II is
You don't
almost a
even
little
have
more
them in their
wide
top
open.
10 anymore.
Yeah, I dropped them out of the top 10 for the first time.
Country Day out of the top 10 in Division II, and that's
and they have 3 Division I level players
Right.
that can still beat you. So they're still going to be one of those teams lying in the weeds, and it's still going to be a good game when they play. We saw the first time they played Edison.
And as a coach, that's kind of a good place to be in sometimes right before the
Sometimes
playoffs.
that's
We're not
exactly-
even in the top 10.
Yeah.
They don't even think you're going to have any
Great
kind of a
bullet
run this
board
year.
material.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely. I know another team that, again, we reference East Lansing and what they've been able to do. And where is this coming from this season, considering what they've lost?
He said he has two juniors that are 3-year starting players.
Yep.
Is it Aliyah Nye?
Aaliyah,
Nye, I'm sorry, and Sanaya Gregory.
Yep.
And so, those girls have a lot of experience, and winning creates confidence
Right.
in the past to win, getting to the state championship.
Sure.
But losing 3 big-time players, including Miss Basketball, they're
rolling
along.
undefeated. It's not like
they
they got
not
a couple.
have a senior on their roster.
No. And they've got lots of freshmen and sophomores that are making contributions. So this is one of those teams that, this is one of those teams where you're almost playing a little bit with house money because, like you said, no seniors. You're not going to lose a big
Exact
player
quote
this year.
from Rob Smith. Yeah.
I
That
saw
seems-
Rob early in the season.
Okay, maybe
probably
that's
where
what
I
he
picked
said
it up.
because that's what he said to me. And,
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's really having fun. He says depth is his key.
Yeah.
They try to play fast, up tempo, turn you over, get lots of baskets. They've had a lot of big wins this year, and they're still undefeated. So that DeWitt game will be exciting, and then they could meet again at the end of the year as well.
You've had an opportunity as we wrap this up to see most of these teams, if not all of them. Division I obviously is where we see the log jam.
Sure.
Where do you think the state champion's going to come out of this year? Right now we've got A&T 1. You've just seen them recently. Wayne Memorial is still good. Another team that lost a huge player, but again, youth rules the day. Again, we just mentioned East Lansing, Saginaw Heritage, of course. Just Midland Dow able to beat them, but that could just be the motivation they need to regroup and say, hey, it's not a given that we're going to win this. And then, of course, we talked about DeWitt, and then you've got Marion Carman Ainsworth, Grand Haven, all there as well.
In no other division is there such a depth of teams, because you can go into the honorable mention list and you can pull out a Walled Lake Western,
Right,
you
I'm
can
looking
pull
at
out a
this.
Heartland,
Yeah.
you can pull out a Brighton. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can
Okemos.
pull
Detroit
out,
King.
Okemos, who's got
Okemos,
two
yeah.
D1
Yeah,
players who
King's
can
not
knock
going
somebody off.
anywhere, yeah.
King's not going
Lots
anywhere.
and lots
Yep.
of good
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
So it's going to be one where there's more parity. Now, yes, there are still the ultra, best teams that we have here in the Super 10, but there's more parity, and you could have somebody who, comes from that honorable mention list
And makes
Ann
a
Arbor
run.
Pioneer and
Right.
makes a run through
Right.
and gets to the semis that you totally don't expect.
Right.
And knock
That's-
on
that's
wood. Who's going to stay healthy?
Exactly.
Right.
That's
Down
the
the
other
stretch.
big
And I'd
thing.
say
Yep.
the health, just as we wrap, the health of the game in girls basketball probably as good as it has been.
Yeah.
Yeah? I mean, the health of the game in general, the girls basketball
Oh, yes,
in the
yes,
state.
yes.
Yeah, I'm not
Yes.
saying the team. I mean, the health of the game seems like it's really
aren't
strong
there a
right
lot
now.
of them? And you look at our Miss Basketball list.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of high level players, and with Rakia at the top, I mean,
Yeah.
she's as high as it's ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look at the girls below her or in that
Yeah.
lineup. In
And
any
the-
given year, they would all be running.
and
They'd
the
have won it
youth.
last year.
And the youth movement is incredible.
Yeah, it's
on the
really-
boys and the girls side.
It's really good to see. It's really good to see that we've got a lot of teams.
Right. Oh, quickly, I know that we are really up against the BCAM registration deadline now, right? 15th is your deadline. So if
We're
you
at-
want to make one last pitch.
We're at 5,623 right now.
Okay.
We're a little down.
Okay.
We're about it's crunch time now. We're making a lot of calls, a lot of follow up emails, just trying to get people to get their stuff in so they can be up for all the awards: college, high school, coaches, players, everything.
and even middle schools, right?
Yeah, middle schools can be members,
Yeah.
absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
And they get all our information educational-wise, clinic-wise, monthly newsletters, those
Okay.
types of things.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll do it again next
thanks.
week. And remember, go to bcam.org to register. All right. One more segment to go, and Derek Blaylock has got some fan videos. That's coming up next. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are wrapping up Hang Time. Blaylock is in the building, and it is time for kind of our fan videos. Now, again, we want you guys to send these to us. These we went out and found. It's just kind of a cool thing to end the show with. What are we looking at this week?
Yeah, so we got a couple good ones this week. The first one with the ice day, I think on Wednesday.
Yeah.
The Stony Creek guys did a little, they jumped on the national phenomenon of the hype dunk.
Right.
So check it out here.
Okay.
Have a great day, Stony Creek.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, so we were at the girls' Southfield A&T game, but the guys also had a buzzer-beating win to
Wow.
beat Groves. So this one is pretty hype as well, so
All right.
check it out.
You know, there's nothing like that feeling and that emotion than a it's almost like an overtime goal in hockey or whatever, but to win at the buzzer.
Especially with the fan behind the camera.
Yeah. Oh,
They get
freak
hype
out.
as well, so
Yeah,
it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Finally, we have the girls from Grosse Pointe South. They beat Ike 57-56 on a buzzer beating, I think, three-pointer. So check it out.
All right, so there you have it. So if you're in the stands, you catch a moment like you just saw, send it to us. How do they do it?
Yeah, so if you guys go into email or Twitter, you can email me at Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at yellowflagproductions.com. It should be right below me. So Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at yellowflagproductions.com, or tweet at us. I think one of them was tweeted at us. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, send the link. You know, if you put it up on YouTube, send the link. It'll be really easy for us to grab. So, all right, guys, that is another edition of Hang Time. We'll come at you next week. I know we're just getting ready now we got league playoffs, and then, of course, we'll get into the postseason. So we will talk to you next week.